You're still watching Prime Morning. The segment is Prime Insight. My name is Roslyn Felly. Throughout the week, we've actually spoken about unemployment. We've spoken about entrepreneurship. It's time for us to talk about how we can expand our business to the international front. Of course, when we had a conversation with the entrepreneurs, most of them said that a dream is not just to, sell or do what they're doing in Ghana, but to try as much as possible to go international. And so we decided that let's bring this conversation here and help people who want to go international with their businesses. This conversation is not just about us, it's about you and us. We want you to send in your messages. We'll definitely be glad to read it. Sometimes I want to say grateful, glad, and I don't want my R and L to confuse me, so I had to take a pause on it. So we'll be glad to read it on air. It can be a contribution, it can be a question, and of course we'll definitely ask those questions. You can leave it on our WhatsApp number, or you can leave it on our Facebook as we stream live on air. My guest for today is one gentleman who can actually help us in this conversation. He is the president of BIDEC, and he is actually helping young entrepreneurs, young businesses to merge with the diaspora world. His name is Selassie Stephen Asio. Good morning, Selassie.
Good morning.
How are you today?
It's great to be here.
It's great to have you here, I must say. It's very great to have you here. And this, like I said earlier, I want everybody at home to get involved in this conversation, and I'll keep hammering on it. Leave your messages, leave your questions, whether comments is supposed to be just a comment on what we are talking about or question. Just leave it. We definitely want to hear from you. I know you might own a salon. You never know. That salon can go international. But how do you do that? It's up to you to stay tuned to this particular conversation, and that's the only way you can do it. Now, there's also, a Black History Festival that took place, the second edition, took place in Columbus, and we have to talk about it before we delve into the other conversation. So let me ask you, Selassie, there's a Black History Festival. Of course, when we talk about Black, then we come home. How was it?
Well, I want to use the opportunity to say a very big thank you to you and to your team for having us here. It's such an honor. The Black History Festival actually was this was the second edition. The first edition was in Washington, D.C. last year, 2022. And so it was in partnership with the African Union, and of course the government of Ghana was one of the key entities that contributed to the program. And this program actually brought together 6 other African countries. Mostly their representatives in the diaspora, the African immigrant community in the U.S. And then you also had the African American community that came there. And basically the program was about trade, the future of Africa, specifically looking at digital transformation and what we could learn from the U.S.
Okay.
For example, cards and credit cards are king in the U.S. as compared to cash. And you realize you want to buy something or you want to do a transaction, no one is asking you for money, they're asking you for your card. So what could we learn from that? And then also it discussed our heritage, our culture, our history, of course, since it was during the Black History Month. We discussed our heritage, what can we learn from Africa's rich culture, what is the history between African Americans and Africa and all. It was a wonderful program that happened for 3 days, and then we ended with an award ceremony to honor individuals who have made a mark when it comes to U.S.-Africa relations. And we had the President of Ghana as one of the Star Award winners, alongside with the Tulsa Massacre survivors, who are now Ghanaian citizens. They were made citizens after the program by the Ghana Embassy and the Office of the President. And it was such a tremendous program that really opened our eyes to opportunities that exist both for the America as a country, African Americans who want to look back to Africa as their origin or their heritage, and to us Africans, both in the area of business, when it comes to culture or any other area.
Now, BIDEC, of course, if I'm a young entrepreneur out there, or I'm a business owner and I want to try to get to the diaspora or to get international, I want to know, how does BIDEC come in to help me? And how is BIDEC also helping with the socio-economic growth of the country?
We acting in 2 ways to contribute our quota when it comes to diaspora engagements being led by the private front. So we first of all collaborate with governments. So our collaboration is one of the reasons why we work with the government of Ghana. Why? Because the government of Ghana is now like the trade center or the trade capital for Africa, because the AFCFTA headquarters or secretariat is right here in Ghana. So it means every trade protocol, every trade agreement, every trade standards and information comes from Ghana. So we had Ghana to champion this cause of leading brands into the open market of the United States. And so government relations is one of them. On the other side, we've also engaged with the government of the United States, where we worked hand in hand with the State Department to discuss what are the opportunities that exist, what institutions are there to champion the cause of U.S.-African relations when it comes to trade. And through that, we've engaged with institutions like USAID, Prosper Africa, the U.S. Africa Development Fund, and the U.S. Commercial Services, which is under the Trade Department of the U.S. government. Our objective is to understand the protocols that exist. So, for example, we have the Africa Growth Opportunity Act, which gives a standard and definition of how African businesses can work with the U.S. government when it comes to exports, imports, free zones, and other standards that come with trade. And so by so doing with government relations, we're able to know exactly what brands need to do to break into the U.S. market, for example. I'll give example of one of the successes we've talked with that. There's this brand called Achievers Food that who exhibited on our platform last year. They didn't even have the opportunity to travel immediately. Okay. But their brand was exhibited during the program and boom, now 1 year down the line, they are in 6 states in the United States. They are incorporated and their brands are on the shelves of some of the African markets. Hold on there.
Now, this is where I bring everybody at home in. You are hearing that somebody goes to advertise. Products is, placed on there, told, they tell the world about your product. And boom, they are there. They are in the diaspora. Yeah. They are not here again. I mean, they are here, but they've expanded. So, the questions, please let them flow. Bring in your questions. Let's ask how you can merge with BDEC, how you can work with BDEC for BDEC to help you go international. Now, BDEC, for such a company, they just came in, and what did they do for you to put them out there?
So you asked a question earlier, what are the steps? The second one is getting in touch with other compatriots, organizations or counterparts to have participate in exhibitions, expos, seminars relating to trade, conferences that border on U.S.-African relations and all. It was one of such during our event that we organized, the Black History Festival, the exhibition part that they exhibited. And as they exhibited on that platform, we had the opportunity to showcase their brand for them. Most of the time, a number of people believe that you need to travel to the countries to actually promote your brand. As you are aware, I mean, going to the United States, for example, travel documentation, visas are not that easy. So, for example, this year we had almost about 70 plus exhibitors who were supposed to be there, but because of travel arrangement, they were not able to participate. We only had a handful. So, just ensuring that you are in partnership with, for example, with BDEC, we are able to take your brands to other exhibitions. For example, we'll be in the Ohio Black Expo on the 27th and 28th. We have some brands like Buffalo where there's polo shirts with our wax prints. Their brands are already there as we speak. We're already doing marketing for them to draw attention and create the hype for the brand before the expo. We have another brand that signed on Mikesh Global. They do natural hair, they do natural hair foods as well. We're promoting their brand there ahead of the expo.
So for the local industries, how can they take advantage of this?
We coming up with an innovation called the Entrepreneurs League, which will be launching somewhere in August, which is to partner with the various trade arms of foreign missions for them to begin to develop the capacity of our local entrepreneurs to understand the protocols that exist. For example, if you want to launch a beverage brand in Ghana, you need to have gotten secured an endorsement or certification from the Food and Drugs Authority, then from standards of the Ghana Standards Authority before you come on the market. The same exists in different jurisdictions across the world. So, for example, if I want to send my brand to the US, you need to understand the protocols that exist, the standards that are necessary for you to break into the market. For example, I know a number of brands have tried to export their brands, completed brands, of course, into the US market, and they have issues.
It has to be completed.
You have to complete. And one of the institutions that helps in that is the Ghana Export Promotion Authority.
Okay.
So we work hand in hand with some of these institutions to ensure that brands that want to promote their products or services in other countries get to understand the protocols and standards that exist. So we are using this Entrepreneurs League to educate our brands to understand the protocols they have to go through, the processes they go through before they're able to benefit from foreign markets like the US market.
Right. Now, there's also going to be a homecoming for this.
The Black History Festival, yes. So we created this homecoming edition because we realized there were a number of businesses, some were lobbies. I know in the US you have lobbies, right? Where they lobby for governments or for entities to, or even politicians. So there were a lot of them that we met during the program, and they were like, hey, we've heard that Ghana is booming. Your real estate industry is booming. Your fashion industry is booming. Agric is on the rise, and it's a necessary entity now. How do we connect with brands here for business, investment, and partnerships? So as a result of that, we're having the homecoming edition of the Black History Festival, which will come with a day's seminar on business. Okay. And then it will also have an expo, a 2-day expo. So during this program, we're looking forward to matchmake various industries. We're looking at the tech industry. The Ghana Digital Centers Limited, for example, is creating a tech platform to ensure all tech brands, whether they are SMEs or accomplished brands, could take advantage of this matchmaking. So when we bring counterparts from the US, we are bringing about 100 executives and professionals to Ghana to matchmake with African brands. It's not only going to be Ghanaian brands. You're going to have some Africans coming from Cameroon, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, and Liberia to Ghana to join with Ghanaian SMEs, Ghanaian youth-owned brands, and all that, to network and see how do we take advantage of platforms like this. And it will be a preparatory event for the coming 2024 edition of the Black History Festival in the United States.
Right. Let me go on Zoom and speak with Habib Adam, who is a senior economist at the Office of the Senior Presidential Advisor, Office of the President of Ghana. Good morning, Habib. Habib, good morning, Habib. Can you unmute yourself for me?
Yeah, good morning.
Great, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. You've done a fantastic job, actually, by selling Ghana to the diaspora. We know that now when we talk, anybody in the diaspora, anytime they hear Ghana, they want to come to Ghana to invest in Ghana. Now, for Ghanaian businesses who also want to spread their wings and go international, I know there's a lot you are doing to support them. Can you run us through some of the things that you're doing to help project our small industries to the world?
Yes, what we are doing, I mean, our office work with BDEC to ensure that we have a very successful programs as happened in the last edition of the Black History Festival. So usually, I usually do the speeches for my boss to talk about Ghana, what government is offering, the opportunities that we offer to both Ghanaians and people in the diaspora. So we talk about the economic condition, the stability of the Ghanaian economy, the stability, the peace that we have, the consistent election we've had without any problems, and the vast opportunities that are there to explore. So usually that's the kind of role that I play. I play in helping the process.
Right, and why is the government actually pushing for this initiative to come to pass?
Yeah, it is important because, you know, there are a lot of resources out there in terms of, financial and technical resources out there that are looking for safe havens to invest. And so it's a matter of marketing yourself. to attract those investments, because there are a lot of countries who are also competing with Ghana. So Ghana, we must put ourselves in a pole position to be able to attract more. And that is why government is getting involved in some of these programs, so that when we go out there, we are able to market Ghana in terms of what we are offering. Because if you look at the position of Ghana, Ghana is centrally located. If you look at the globe, Ghana is one of the closest countries to the center of the earth. And therefore, Ghana also holds the AFTAC that Celeste has already mentioned.
Right.
Ghana holds that AFTAC and therefore become the trade capital of Africa. And so whatever trade agreement between Africa and any other continent, it has to happen in Ghana. And because we are also centrally located, we are very friendly. Anybody who has visited Ghana and has left will tell you that Ghana is the most friendly country he has ever traveled to. In addition, we have a lot of resources, mineral resources, a lot of opportunities in Ghana, except that we are not marketing them enough. And so we are beginning to take the advantage of reaching out there and telling the world that this is what Ghana has. Look, if you are a big corporation and you probably come and set up your plants or your warehouses in Ghana, it becomes cheaper to get them to the rest of the world, because we are centrally located in the middle. So whether you want to go east, west, whatever, we are at a very advantageous point of the world, and therefore it becomes cheaper to do that. In addition, we have a lot of mineral, as I mentioned. If we want to go into agri, we have vast land that are not being utilized. If you are coming to agri and you are able to invest enough, look, Ghana can feed the rest of Africa if you utilize the arable lands that we have. But all these areas, we need investment in the digital sector. We need investment. Even if you also observe, you realize that Ghana also is becoming the education hub for Africa. Most of the Africans, elite, and even people in diaspora, they now bring their children to Ghana for education. If you go to most of our universities now, almost over 30% of them are foreigners. But these are advantages that we need to take. We need to get out there. So even if you are coming to invest even in education, there's a market for you. And so these are the things that we try to let the world know about the advantages of coming into Ghana.
Now, Habib, you mentioned the investors, you are selling things to them, what we have, you are offering it to them. But what exactly are they really interested in, so we can have more people say that we are going into those sectors so the investors can support us?
In fact, they are actually interested in many things. I'll just give you an example. During the program, I had an interaction with one gentleman. Even though he's in US, I know US is not known for football. For soccer that we're talking about. And he was telling me that his interest is that he knows Ghana has got lots of talents in football. So he wants to come to Ghana to start to look for kids, very talented kids who are good at football. So, the interest is varied. So people have various interests. Or there's someone to go into football, administration. Others want to go into real estate. Others want to go into providing communication equipment. So many things. So it is for us to package those advantages that we have, the various areas that we think that we need investment. Because we need investment in infrastructure. We need to have our rail lines working. We need to have our roads. We need to have, there's a deficit of about over 2 million housing units in Ghana. We need to fill all those gaps. So these are the things that we are selling out to those outside there. And there are also new markets that probably people are not aware. And so we are researching into some of those new areas that people can invest into, and then come in and then bring it. Because there are a lot of monies, pension funds and several other funds out there. And because of the current economic situations now, so people are holding their funds and they are wondering what to do. And another significant thing that happens is that you realize that in the US, a lot of people are becoming very worried because of the current situations in US. Gun violence, parents not having the right to choose the gender of their children and other. So people, maybe highly religious people, want to move out, want to move their families out. And so they want to have some connections between Africa and then they're there so that they can come probably settle their family here, have some business here or something so that they can always go and come. But they don't want their children to grow in such environment. And so these are some of the things that advantages that we need to take and market ourselves so that people will create the environment here for them to be able to feel free to move in here. We'll receive them well, provide the needed facilities, accommodation that they will require, commercial property, commercial offices, properties for them to rent as offices, and several others. So these are the things that we need to take advantage of.
Habib, what about that market woman? What about that farmer in the village? How can such a person benefit from these investors?
Exactly. In fact, let me give you one other interest. You know, there was this guy, Manny. He's into shea butter. Yes, shea butter. And he has packaged it in a way that he's not into several states in US in about over 100 stores. And he is using, you know, shea butter is, we have them a lot in the north. So in my interaction with him, I told him that, look, in the north, we can get to organize the woman. And, you know, usually it's the woman, you know, shea nuts are growing in the wild. You know, you don't plant them, they just grow in the wild. But the women go out there to pick them. So we're discussing how to organize the women, go to the villages where they are there, and then organize them properly. See how they can get the shea nut, process them the way we want, and then they will have a regular market so that we can export them to the US to make sure that he has a very consistent supply. So this is how some of them are going to benefit. And we're also looking at opportunities for women. You know, there are others who want to help women, widows, and other things. But these are things that we are trying to develop. You understand? So everybody, there's something in for everybody. But for the start, you know, usually you won't attract some of these maybe grants and other things that go to women. But looking at businesses who are interested in investment. So we're starting with that, and then we'll scale down. Even some of them, like I mentioned about the shea butter, some of them will scale down to the women, you know, who are doing some of these things, and then they also get benefits.
Let me come to the studio and speak with Selassie, and Selassie is the president for BIDEC. Now, Selassie, the same question I asked Habib, of course, you deal with them directly. I know most people watching will say, oh, we are talking about it as though it's easy. You're saying the registration and everything, which is not another easy process because somebody might not even have the funding to register. So how do you come in to help such a person?
So this business is a competitive area, right? So either you have the funds, or you have the skill that is needed, or you have the product or the service that is needed. There has to be innovation around how we do business for us to attract bigger investment and even a larger audience or a market audience. So my advice I give to my colleague young people who are craving to do something, because I happen to be a beneficiary of the Tony Elumelu entrepreneurship program.
Right.
So under this program, you had thousands of Africans who applied for grants. And through that, we were trained on the rudiments of business. How do you package your business? How do you attract the target audience for your market and all? We need to really understand our industries. Number one, we need to understand the standards that come with the industry you are going into. Maybe I want to do shoes. Maybe I want to design clothes. Maybe I just want to be a musician, or I just want to write books. You need to understand the industry you are going to, the standards of it, and get a mentor who will advise you on what to do. Some of the times you don't even need cash capital or money to push your business. You may just need to bootstrap or probably do something else that will help you get the money to take off with the business of your choice. So by so doing, you have a story, because people don't invest into brands, they invest into people. If someone wants to invest in you, they are going to first of all look for the founder or the CEO of the organization, believe in that person before they invest into the company. Because by and by, you are the one who steers the brand, you are the one who steers the company. So we need to really study about the industries we want to go into as young entrepreneurs or owners of SMEs or enterprises. And by so doing, we become attractive to people. I give the story of a young Ghanaian who had never traveled to the US before, but his brand went ahead of him, and now he goes to the US and comes freely. So we need to understand the industries we are, and then that will give us the impetus to be able to attract the right investment or the market that we want, even locally or internationally.
Habib?
Yes, if I may also add,
please go ahead.
We're looking at, yes, you realize that as part of the program, not many people have the funds to be able to travel or to be able to pay and go and do the exhibition. So there's an opportunity to do online. So those who don't have that money will have to pay some small amount of money, and then they join by Zoom online. And those exhibitions are also displayed live, so that people get to, even after the program, people still go in and they can still see the various brands that were advertised or that were displayed. So there's still that opportunity for people who can afford to go to the US to be there in person to display their goods. They have the opportunity to also do that through virtual means. So this other way of helping some of the SMEs or some of the upcoming businesses that don't have the resources to be able to travel.
Right. Habib, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are very grateful. You have a good day. Right, I've been speaking with Habib Adam. He's a senior economist at the Office of the Senior Presidential Office Advisor and also Office of the President of Ghana. I'm still here with Selassie Stephen Asio. He is the president of BIDEC, and of course they are trying so hard, and I love the fact that they are putting a lot of young Ghanaian entrepreneurs out there. And if you're a young Ghanaian entrepreneur, this is an opportunity for you to actually get your products sold out there. This question, I know that so many creatives will definitely beat me if I don't ask. Somebody's a musician, somebody's an actress, actor, somebody's into production. How do you market such a person to an investor out there?
That's a very nice question, because I really wanted to hammer there, because I see a musician in the studio. So last year we had an engagement with the State Department of the US. And one of the institutions called Prosper Africa was very keen on the creatives of Africa, because the creative industry actually sells Africa's identity. Our music, the language they use to produce the music, if it's our clothing, if it's our artworks, if it's the books we write, it actually communicates the identity of the people of Africa. And it's one area of interest for even the state or the government of the US. Not to even say the private sector. And you realize in recent times we have been having partnerships where there are some record labels that are signing Ghanaian acts. So one of the things that we're doing for the next edition, for example, is creating a zone for arts where we are going to be partnering with Prosper Africa for them to even discover some of the brands from Africa that are thriving. So it's quite interesting to know that art is selling Africa on a large scale now. Nigeria,
we need investors.
Nigeria, for example, is using music to sell the country on a large scale. Now, people talk about Nigeria, not because of their governance, not because of the country itself, but because of their music. So, for a creative in Ghana, I think one key thing we need to do now is research. Yesterday, I had an encounter or an engagement with the Senior Presidential Advisor, Honorable Yasaf Mafo, and he said the key thing we need to do as young people is research about the industries we want to go in or we are in, to find out what is up, what's going on in our industry, what is the one that is fetching money, what is fetching money, what is getting the attention of investors. And I think now the originality of African creatives like music is very key now. And I believe that in our own contribution to the creative industry, we're going to be creating a whole section in our exhibitions next year.
Great.
In 2024 February. We'll be going back to Ohio, Columbus. And so we'll be creating a whole section for the creatives to exhibit. And we'll not leave it there. We'll also bring in institutions that are interested in investing in those brands. So somewhere in August, we'll be doing the official launch for the media launch for the festival 2024 edition, and then we'll be able to answer some of these questions. How do I participate? How do I even enlist my brand, be it in the arts, be it in the tech industry, be it in the finance or agro industry, to be part of the program, so people could get to take advantage of these opportunities. We're also not leaving these opportunities just to the programs we organize. We're also reaching out to other organizations based in America or Europe to see how we could prepare our young people. Our interest is get more brands out there that take advantage of the foreign market, because they'll surely bring money back home, and if they expand, they'll employ more people, or if they expand, they'll pay more taxes, the government, to get more money to develop the country. And of course, we also get what is due us as an organization to also develop and do much more. So we are interested in promoting all industries, not only the creatives, but every industry that represents Africa's budding youth economy. And we believe that Africa has what it takes to compete with the rest of the world. Africa is still green. We have so many green industries. We tend to forget that education brings a lot of people to Africa, to Ghana, pardon me. Musicians like Pato Rankin, and there is this school, Easy, they all schooled in Ghana and they remain in Ghana. You get to see a lot of Liberians, Nigerians, Cameroonians coming to Ghana to school. Education is big, so we could focus on that. Health. A lot of people are looking at Ghana. We may not celebrate ourselves, but trust me, when we talk to
it looks
other
like,
Africans,
yes, you know, Ghanaians
drive a lot
actually
of
want
attention.
to also project themselves out there. Yes, we can sell ourselves, but we want to project ourselves out there. So, Selassie, I know, before you go, your final words for people who are watching, people who want the support from BDEG, how can they, you know, come on board for you to support them? If there's a number that you can leave, and also any events coming up, kindly talk about it before we go.
So for all activities, projects, and then initiatives that are towards promoting African trade, our heritage and culture, you could go on our website. Our website gives a lot of that. What are some of the people you could connect to and all? So if you go to www.blackhistoryfestivals.com, you could get to know our upcoming activities when it comes to the Black History Festival. And if you want to connect with our organization, to get yourself prepared, build your capacity, be part of our training programs and all, you could go to www.bideconline.com. So bideconline.com, and you could get our contact details, our email, and you could get in touch with us. I could also give this number out. That's +2333 50956 9607, +233 50956 9607, and you could get in touch with our organization. We are ready to help, and I'm very sure when we launch out some of our platforms and the upcoming Black History Festival for 2024, you'll get to know what is in there for you and how you can engage. Thank
you so much for being here, Selassie. Super grateful.
It's an honor. We hope to see you guys. Joy Prime should be in our next program.
We'll be there.
So let's start vibing and let's see what we have to do for you guys.
Sure. Yeah. My guest has been Selassie Stephen-Esio. He's the president for BDEG, and of course, if you're a young entrepreneur out there, he's here to support you. A happy birthday to you, Jaden Kismet Sego. You are a Year 7 learner of International Community Montessori School, ICMS Takrade. Happy birthday to you. Mommy says she loves you. Actually, it's not just mommy, daddy, everybody says they love you so much. They pray that God will bless you, grant you long life, good health, prosperity. May you shine forever and ever. Happy birthday, Jaden. Happy birthday. Your mommy's name is Mama Julie. Juliana is my classmate. Mama Julie. So Mama Julie is wishing you, Jaden, a happy birthday.